Hey everybody, welcome back. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Chris. Today I'm going to try to do something I've never done before. I'm going to try to film 3 videos in one setting. I have a day off during the week, which never happens. The weather's pretty decent and it takes me a long time to put on my makeup. I'm not one of those people that loves to spend hours putting on makeup. That is not me. I love makeup. I have a ton of it. I just don't like to spend the time putting it on. During the week, I'm pretty much a sunscreen, lip gloss, and mascara kind of a girl. I get ready in about 5 minutes and I've gotten really used to that routine. So when it takes me an hour to put on my makeup, I want to make sure I get the biggest bang for my buck. So I've been filming multiple videos in one setting and I kind of like it. It works out well for me. But I'm going to try to do 3 today. The first one right now is one that was requested by a couple people and one I've wanted to do for a couple months, and it is about fragrances with a note of marshmallow. If you are new to my channel, I'm a big fan of gourmands. If you've been here before, you know I love my gourmands, and marshmallow is a delicious gourmandy note that I enjoy immensely. And I went through my fragrances and I found 9 fragrances that have a prominent note of marshmallow. So that's the video I'm going to be doing right now. And before I get started, if I don't mention a fragrance that you love that has a prominent note of marshmallow in it, please let me know in the comments below. I don't want to be missing out. So behind me I have 8 full bottles, 1 sample, 1 fragrance that I just do not wear. I've had for 2 years. I do not wear, and so it will be leaving after this video. A couple fragrances I've talked about before, and a couple fragrances I have never spoken about. So if you are a frequent guest here, hopefully you will not be bored, and there will be something new for everybody. First up is a fragrance I have spoken about before. It is a delicious gourmand that I love, and it only has 3 notes listed. It has caramel, vanilla, and benzoin. But to me, it smells like a vanilla marshmallow cookie that has been dipped in a honeyed milk. And it is my Lait Divinity by Chabot. I love this fragrance. This is a fragrance that is not for somebody who likes really strong fragrances. This is on the lighter side. I have to spray like 8 to 10 times and layer with a body cream if I want this to last at least a good half day. But it is a delicious fragrance that, to me, even though the notes don't mention marshmallow, I get a very much of a marshmallow vibe from this, or a marshmallow note or a chord. It is really, really sweet, and for those who enjoy really sweet, true to life, foodie gourmand fragrances that are not beast mode. And for me, there is a time and a place for this one. It's also a really good layering fragrance, so I'm going to start the list with this one. And again, I'm going to speed through the ones I have spoken about before, particularly ones I've spoken about many times, which would include this next one. And of course I had to include it in my video because it has the name Marshmallow in it. It is by Parle de Parfum. I love this house. And it's called Guimauve de Noel, which means Christmas marshmallow. Now, one would think that this is only a Christmas time fragrance, and that it would be incorrect. It has 3 notes listed. I'm sure there are many, many other notes, but it is orange blossom, vanilla, and sugar. So the idea is that it smells like a French orange blossom marshmallow, which is very big around Christmas time. So when I didn't have a lot of fragrances with the note of marshmallow in it, I thought this was a very marshmallowy fragrance. Now that I have more fragrances with a note of marshmallow or a marshmallow accord, this one is not as fluffy and thick as a marshmallow. This is sweet and on the lighter side, but it is basically a sweet orange blossom gourmand marshmallowy fragrance. When I wear this, the times I've worn this, my daughter says I smell like an orange creamsicle. So it's very light, it's very sweet and ice creamy. It is so pretty. And in fact, I like to wear this a little bit better when the weather gets warm. It just smells so nice on your skin after your skin has been hot. Maybe when your skin is a little bit sun-kissed, this smells amazing. So I do like to wear it in the wintertime. It's not super strong in the wintertime. It's a little on the light side, so the cold winters here kind of cut through it, so it doesn't last too terribly long in the wintertime, but it's a great one to wear in the hot weather. Particularly, I like to wear this in the winter and I like to wear this in the summer. But a marshmallow fragrance I love. I think this was my very first marshmallow based fragrance and I just adore it. This next fragrance was a fragrance that made me realize that my Guimauve de Noel wasn't as gooey and marshmallowy as I thought it was. And I did a sample swap with my friend Giselle over at GB Fragrances. She doesn't do YouTube anymore, but she has a phenomenal Instagram account and I highly recommend you follow her. Her fragrances are amazing. But she sent me a sample of Sintra and I have just a little bit left. And if you can just see by the color of the juice, it's very dark. So usually it has more vanilla or vanillin in it. They tend to be thicker fragrances. So Sintra has orange blossom and marshmallow, similar to Guimauve de Noel, but this has other notes in it. It is a much greener fragrance. I believe it has neroli or petitgrain in it. This fragrance is much thicker. It's much more substantial. It's heavier. It has a lot more heft, whereas Guimauve de Noel is much lighter. It's a lighter, more airy fragrance. In addition to orange blossom, this has other white flowers. I'm pretty sure it's jasmine. And if that's the floral in here, it's really good. It's a jasmine that I like. The florals in here are delicious. Only if you like orange blossom. You have to be a fan of orange blossom and neroli to a lesser extent. But those florals are cut with sweetness. I want to say there's caramel in here, there's milk in here, and of course there's marshmallow in here. So a lovely, I spilled it on my hands. It smells so good. But it definitely has a heavy greenness. So you do need to like petitgrain. I can do petitgrain if it's offset by something sweet or if it's just a little bit. I can't do a ton of petitgrain. It gives me a little bit of a headache. It's perfect in here, and I think it's because it's perfectly balanced, or for me, it's nicely balanced with these really sweet gourmand notes. This is a gorgeous fragrance. I have so many sweet orange blossom fragrances. I don't know if I would be adding this as a full bottle. I might be in the future, but I literally think I have 8 or 10 sweet orange blossom fragrances, and I probably need to make a video of orange blossom fragrances, and I need to take a hard look, see which ones I use, see which ones need to go or can go, and at that point, if I start to narrow down the vast number of sweet orange blossom fragrances I have, I probably will add Sintra to the list because it's gorgeous, it's strong, and it has, great lasting power. The next one I got was not love at first sniff. It wasn't even a like at first sniff. And to be honest with you, did I buy this blindly? No, I did not. I had a sample of it. And I was well aware that it was not a love, but I purchased it anyway. I'm a big sucker for the packaging of House of Cyage. I think their cupcakes are beautiful. I'm one of those that I think some bottles are like artwork too. So in addition to a nice smelling perfume, if I can get something that looks like art, I'm all over it. And the next one is what I'm talking about. So it is called Whispers of Seduction. And these bottles are just gorgeous. The glass is cut nicely. They have Swarovski crystals. They're just beautiful. And I bought this mainly because it had a note of marshmallow, and I wanted to give it a go and see if this was a fragrance I could really enjoy. Even though when I first sampled it, it wasn't a love. It was I'd like to get to know this fragrance a little bit better. And thanks to a nice flash sale from the House of Cyage, I picked up a bottle and I'm really happy with it. If you are interested in getting one of the cupcakes, and I'm not sponsored, I paid for this myself, get on the mailing list, and then they will send you emails when they have kind of flash sales. They usually happen daily. So you may want a cupcake you've had your eye on, but you didn't want to pay the full asking price. However, when they have a nice flash sale, you can get these for up to 50% off, so well worth it for me. Anyways, the reason why I did not love this at first was because when I first spray it, and I'm going to find my blotter here, I'm going to spray it again. The notes seem to clash a little bit. You just kind of had notes that just didn't seem to play nicely together right in the beginning. So it's got some sweet, fresh fruitiness. There's clementine, I think, apple, there is orange, there are white florals in here. I definitely smell freesia. If you've ever smelled freesia or worked with freesia essential oil, it's one of those flowers that when you smell it, you kind of recognize it. So you've got these fruity notes, you've got this prominent freesia in my opinion, and then I kind of got oud wood right away. So those notes seem to just kind of clash. It was like if you've ever been to the symphony or you've ever been to a football game and the band's warming up and they're kind of doing their own thing. So they're not playing together. So it's this cacophony of noises. Same thing with the symphony. They're playing all over the place. They're getting warmed up and it's just disorganized mess. And then 5 minutes later, when they start to play together, then it's beautiful. So that's kind of what I get in this fragrance. The very first couple minutes, it just seems to clash. These notes kind of clash. And then as it settles, as the fragrance settles down, or the longer I've had it, the more I've worn it, it just seems to kind of smooth out on me. I get more of the sweetness. The marshmallow comes in. So you've got these sweet notes that are kind of blending everything together. So the marshmallow and the sweetness, which is probably vanilla, kind of smooths everything out. And that's the part where I really, really like. As it's drying down, it's nice and powdery. It's sweet, it gets more fluffy, and it just kind of settles into a nice fragrance. The florals are still present. Whatever florals in here, the freesia tames down just a little bit, and there might be some lime in here, lime or bergamot, but I like it as it settles, and as it settles, that it becomes a really, really pretty fragrance. Not super powerful. I'm a serial undersprayer, and I spray about 6 times with this. I've worn it to work. And it's a closer scent. If you want it to be a real powerhouse, you're gonna spray more than 6 times. You're gonna spray maybe 10 to 12 times and it'll last a lot longer as well. But I can get a good half day. So 6 sprays, a solid 4 to 5 hours. At 6 hours, it becomes a skin scent, which is perfectly fine by me. I'm really coming to enjoy this fragrance a lot. This is kind of a more dressed up fragrance. This is not jeans and t-shirt to me. I just feel like I need to put myself together a little bit when I wear this one. So super happy about the full bottle. Super happy that I'm actually really enjoying it. It could have gone both ways when I bought it. So love it, and the bottle is gorgeous. I actually kind of like filming during the day. I can hear the birds chirping. It is the end of April. The grass here is getting green. We've had a lot of rain. The weather is kind of unpredictable. It can be cold, it can be warm. It's a tad chilly today and a little overcasty, but I really like hearing the birds chirp. And speaking of kind of colder weather, the next fragrance to me is more of a colder weather fragrance, or a fragrance to be worn out at night. And it is a fragrance I got thanks to a nice person I met over YouTube and Instagram, Stacy. She sent me a ton of samples, a lot of which were from the house of Navitus, and I basically liked everything I smelled, particularly this next one. I bought a full bottle like that day or the next day, and it is called Soir Exclusif. This is very much a unisex fragrance. It is a gourmand. It is an almond, vanilla, tonka, woody fragrance. This is for people who love almond. I'm a huge fan of almond. I love almond, except I have a hard time. It smells really good. I have a hard time with some bitter almond. Bitter almond, not always so much, but if you're right in the middle, or if you're sweet almond, particularly, I'm a huge fan of marzipan. Hello, I love that. This is a gorgeous, wonderfully composed fragrance, and it is a gourmand. It is a fragrance with gourmand notes that's not overly sweet, and I would not describe this as an edible gourmand. This has a lot of woody notes to it, which anchors it and keeps it from going into the food or dessert territory for sure. Even though it has some nice strong woody notes, this nice almond note, marshmallow in it. It is sweet and creamy, but it's also woody and vanilla. It's this really nice combination of notes, and I think there's coffee in here as well. I don't get a ton of coffee. I do get a lot of tonka, a lot of almond, a lot of woods, a lot of vanilla, and a nice marshmallowy sweetness. It's not too sweet. I wore this. I'm one of those that I match my fragrances to my outfit and the weather. And I had to work on a Saturday morning. I had to get up at 6 in the morning. It was cold. And so when I pick out my fragrance, picking out my fragrances is very important because I need something that's kind of lift my spirits and keeps me going throughout the day. And I chose this fragrance, but I picked it, or I paired it with like a pair of jeans and a striped turtleneck nautical sweater. And I just felt like it didn't go. It just didn't match. This fragrance is a more, I'm going to say fancier fragrance. This is a fragrance I would wear when I was dressed up, wearing all black, maybe a dinner, maybe a fancy dinner, definitely a date, or going out, maybe going out with my friends, somewhere kind of nice. This is a fragrance I would definitely choose in the wintertime, or if I had to go somewhere that was air conditioned. I'm not sure this is something I'm going to want to wear when it's 100 degrees outside. It might be a little bit too thick and too heavy. I haven't had it in the hot weather, so who knows? But I can tell you it has performed beautifully in the cold. So I think that's when it shines. So colder weather, or a place you're going to be where it's cool or air conditioned. Gorgeous fragrance with a lovely marshmallow note. The next fragrance is another big love for me. And I tried this line thanks to my friend Melissa Jean. She had introduced me to the commodity line early last year, and I bought a couple fragrances, but then, you couldn't find their fragrances. There was word that they were going to go out of business, so I just kind of stopped looking. I stopped trying to collect their fragrances because they were getting harder to find and really expensive on, secondhand websites. So I just forgot about commodity. So I was thrilled when they came back last year. I got a discovery set. There were so many in there that I loved. I have 2 full bottles now. I'm going to get a 3rd full bottle. But the bottle that made the list today is Commodity Milk. I love it. And it has a lovely marshmallow note in it. When I first sprayed this, it smelled very much like Velvet Tonka from BDK. And I loved Velvet Tonka for the first 5 minutes. And then on my skin, it became sour. It did not work for me. It was like one of these woo up and down fragrances that I was going to love. Oh, I'm going to get a full bottle. And then 5-10 minutes later, ooh, no. So I thought I was going to have the same. I was a little guarded because it smelled similar to Velvet Tonka. However, this one did not go in that direction. This one just kept getting better and better the longer I wore it. This is a sweet, very milky, musky, woody vanilla. Oh, it smells so good with tonka and marshmallow. This is delicious. The tonka in here is very prominent. It gives it, I want to say, a warmth and a depth. This is sweet to me, and it is, to me, this is a gourmand. But I can see how some people who aren't super fond of gourmands taking a liking to this, because some of the sweetness, it comes from an ambery accord. There are some woody notes in here. I'm not sure the wood's in here, but it's a little bit thicker. The wood keeps it from being too sweet. And to me, I could swear that there is ambroxan in here, or some sort of aroma chemical that smells a tad synthetic in the best possible way, in a modern way. So it's just a very modern scent. To me, this is a modern take on a gourmand. I really like it. This is a great performer. This on me lasts all day long. So I have to be a little bit careful to not overspray. Haven't worn this to work because this one to me might not be totally work friendly because it can go into the sweet zone, but it is gorgeous. You could probably wear this to work, or I could probably wear it to my work, which is, we have to be careful about, I work in a hospital, so we have to be careful about the fragrances that we wear, not to overpower anybody or to overpower somebody who's sensitive to fragrances. So I could probably wear this if I didn't go crazy, but it is a gorgeous fragrance that I do like to overspray when I'm home or I'm out kind of running errands or doing something where I don't have to worry about offending somebody else. So love this one. And I'm so glad, thank you Commodity, for not going out of business, because I still need to pick up one more bottle. The next one is a fragrance I've had for 2 years, and I literally have not worn it. since I purchased it. And I think a part of the reason I kept it is because I heard it was getting discontinued, and that kind of made me want to hoard it, for lack of a better word. But I just do not want to wear it. I do not spray it. There's something, and it's not a horrible fragrance. There's nothing terribly offensive to me. It's just not something that I want to wear. It's not something I've ever reached for ever. And it is by Kilian. It is called Princess. Again, this is not something that I hate or dislike. Yeah, it doesn't smell bad from the nozzle. So why do I never want to wear it? I gotta tear off my little dabber here. Why do I never want to wear it? Yeah, so this is like a soft, fluffy, powdery, kind of a fresh green tea marshmallow fragrance. It is refreshing when I smell it now. It's refreshing. I'm sure there's citruses here. I'm gonna guess bergamot. Bergamot's in everything. It's nice. It's citrusy. However, as I'm smelling it, I remember it just smells synthetic. There's something artificial and synthetic about it. And I'm not talking aroma chemical. I don't have any problem with aroma chemical like Ambroxan or ISOE Super. Those smell good. There's just something synthetic in here. Something that smells artificial, like an artificial marshmallow, artificial tea, something. It just doesn't jive with me. It has a sweetness. It's sweet, but it's very soft. So it's not overpowering. And now that I remember, I think I wore this one time. And it was just, I couldn't get it to last more than 2 hours, which was fine because I just, it just didn't speak to me. It's just not something that I want to reach for. I literally think this has been in my closet in storage for 2 years. It'll be 2 years this summer. I'm on my lawn. And so I just don't have the room to hold on to this. I thought about giving it to my daughter, but I've given her a bunch of fragrances this year. She's got a little bit of a collection going on. So I think that this will be in my declutter video that I'm going to do in a couple hours. So, but it has a marshmallow note, and I'm sure a lot of people love it. It's just not my favorite marshmallow. And with the degree or the number of fragrances that I own, it's just not getting used, and it's time for it to go goodbye. Second to last fragrance. This is a fragrance that I enjoy. I'm kind of mad at it right now. Well, I have no one to be mad at other than myself. This was the only Parfum de Marly that I ever purchased blindly, and I was holding out for the longest time. I have several Parfum de Marly that I really enjoy. My favorites right now are Meliora and Kyse. I love those with the Delina flankers behind that. But I got sucked into this fragrance because of the marshmallow note and the whipped cream note or accord. And so Max Aroma was having a snap sale. I literally saved 30%. So I went ahead and bought it. And it's another orange blossom prominent fragrance like I need another orange blossom fragrance like I need a hole in my head. I have so many, but I think you know what it probably is. It is Oriana. The bottle's very pretty. Listen, it's a nice fragrance. It is a nice fragrance. It is a nice, clean, fruity floral, more fruit than floral. Gourmand. It has some fruits up top. I want to say, black currant. Of course it has orange blossom. It has black currant. It's got the marshmallow. It has this cashmere or whipped cream accord or chantilly cream, something like that. That does give it some creaminess. It's very creamy and sweet and vanillic in the dry down, and it has a prominent note of orange blossom. I used to own a travel spray of Love by Kilian, and to me the differences are this one is a little bit fruitier. It's a little bit more citrusy. I think there's some citrus up at the top, maybe grapefruit, orange, something like that. It's very nice. Oh, and Love is more floral, in my opinion. The orange blossom is a little bit stronger. Definitely present here, and this is a lovely fragrance, don't get me wrong. Why I'm mad at it is that the performance is not good, okay? This is incredibly light. My other Parfums de Marly are beasts. Oh my heavens. Delina Exclusive, you can smell that 24 hours later. I know that because I sprayed it in my hair. I literally could smell that for 24 hours. This one does not perform like what I'm used to, the Parfum de Marly fragrances performing like. So I'm a little bit bummed at it right now. I'm just going to have to overspray it. So this is a thinker. I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep this one. It's lovely. And if I didn't have so many orange blossom fragrances, I probably would keep this and overspray. And listen, it's been cold here when I've worn it. And we all know that some of these fruity floral fragrances don't do well when it's cold outside. So I will give it a chance as it warms up because it is lovely. But be warned, this is light. If you want a powerhouse, if you think this is going to behave like Delina or Delina Exclusive, you're going to be disappointed. But it has a lovely vanillic marshmallow creaminess to it that I do enjoy. And the last one is one that I've spoken about more than anything up here, talked about it a ton. It is a gourmand. It is a gourmandy gourmand. This is for people who love their gourmands. If you do not like your fragrances to smell like food or to smell like a sweet marshmallow, stay far, far away. But if the idea of a sweet, vanillic, thick, ooey, gooey, just dive in a bowl of marshmallows sounds up your alley, this is the best one by far. This is the most marshmallowy of the marshmallows. And this is by Kyse Fragrances, and this is called Delizia de Marshmallow. This is a very sweet, marshmallowy vanilla. The only notes listed are marshmallow, sugar, and vanilla, I believe, and that's basically what it smells like. It is strong. It's very fun to wear. The odd thing is I wore this in the summer when I first got it about two summers ago. And that's because when I got it and I went on a vacation to the Gulf shores, and it was very, very hot. And I just happened to throw the travel spray in my purse. And my daughter and I were using it, and it wasn't overbearing. I don't know why, because it's really thick, it's really sweet, and it's kind of heavy. But I guess it's one of these fragrances that, as long as you enjoy those notes, works year round. It is strong, and this thing lasts forever. So the queen or king of marshmallow fragrances right here. So that does it. First of 3 videos for the day is done. I'm going to clear off my mantle and I'm going to do my gourmand florals next. Thank you again for sticking around. Thank you for watching me. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you to everybody who show up every week. They give me a thumbs up, they leave me a nice comment, and they keep coming back every week and supporting me. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. I really appreciate it. And with that, I hope to see you on the next one. This is I better spray it. Oh, that smells so good. It's the cap.